Hi, good morning. Welcome back to new episode. Okay, so let's start today the coding round. Today I have to select one good problem. I think this is which problem is this? Hard problem. Yeah. So this is the new problem for today. And if I read this problem, it is something like LeetCode number 502, and it falls under hard category. So it might have some mysterious test cases, but anyway, let's move on. The problem name is IPO 502 IPO, and let me read first the problem so that at least we should like as I already explained you, I always try to four-step mechanism to solve any problem, from like whenever you need solving a problem, you need to run the four steps. The first step is understand the problem and constraint first, right? This is the first step. The second step is to create some upfront test cases to verify your implementation. Now, many people asked me earlier that how you can generate all the test cases before going to the implementation. See, there are two approaches here. In some cases, when you can understand the nuances of the problem, what you are going to implement, you can create all possible test cases to verify your logic. But there is another way also to think on this, that you write your test cases in step 2, whatever possible at this point you can think. And then go to the step 3. Step 3, I told you to create a basic structure of your overall implementation, a skeleton of overall implementation, right? And while creating a skeleton, you can add more test cases in whatever we prepared in step 2. Then again, while implementing, like step 3b, while implementing your skeleton, like implementing your business logic for identified skeleton, at that time also, if you think that some test cases could be added in addition to existing test cases, you can also add at that point, right? Eventually, what we are trying to accomplish here, that you have a set of test cases which is required to test your implementation with automation, without any manual dry run or intervention, right? That is the primary logic in better programming. Like earlier, if you remember, everybody is saying that after implementation you should dry run. This is very much correct in interview environment, but in industry where you are an individual contributor and you're supposed to write the best possible solution for any problem, there you have to automate your verification step as much as possible. And if you do this as a practice, it is always makes more robust. It give you the additional capability as a developer, and you will be recognized as a developer with lots of toolkit as a best practices. People will follow you. So these kind of things is appropriate in industry. That's why I'm sharing here that even though you are doing your logic enhancement task as a problem solving, you should do in these steps because it creates practice for you and you will feel comfortable while going to the actual work. That's why this is very important. Okay, so enough theory. Now let's move to the problem. So this problem is, as I told you, this is hard category. So it has some suspicious test cases might be, but the problem statement is saying that suppose LeetCode will start its IPO soon. Very good. In order to sell a good price of its shares to ventures capital, LeetCode would like to work on some projects to increase its capital before the IPO. Since it has limited resource, it can only finish at most key distinct projects before the IPO. So he wants to quick like portfolio of projects to share that to their investor, so that investor would feel comfortable in investing. That is what the goal is. And they are saying that you have a given K allowed number of projects you can do before going to capital venture. Okay, so help LeetCode design the best way to maximize its total capital after finishing at most K distinct project. Okay. Now next line of sentence is, you are given n projects when the ith project has a pure profits I, and minimum capital of capital I is needed to start. So profit and capital, these two are the array which is giving that to start the ith project you will get this much profit, and you will need this much money, this much capital to start that project. Okay. Now initially you have W capital. When you finish a project, you will obtain its pure profit, and the profit will be added to your total capital. Now pick a list of at most K distinct projects from given project to maximize your final capital and return the final maximized capital. So your task here is to pick the K distinct project in such a way that at the end of executing this K project, your capital is maximum, right? So you have maximize minimize problem. Please, now as a thumb rule, by reading this much, you can identify that one way of solving this problem is maybe some dynamic programming will play here, but that is just a intuitional solution. It might not be the correct solution, but this is definitely going to be a probably one candidate to think upon, right? So that's why I always, if you remember earlier in some video, I have mentioned this, that every problem have some pattern, and you should try to find pattern in problem. That's it. This pattern will try to, put you on the right track. But before proceeding on that track, you have to make sure that is this really is this problem really will be solved by that pattern, or do you need to think more? That is what you should think beforehand. So here, by this much reading, my intuition is, one intuition I get as a pattern is that I may require some DP concept, but I have not yet verified what are the key two parameters, key two attributes in the problem, which make sure that, after that we are very much sure that yes, this is a problem of DP or XYZ. Okay, so we'll verify, but for now it seems to be either it is a dynamic programming problem, or the second thing which will be a patternized for these kind of problems is greedy approach. So greedy pattern. Okay, so in greedy, like you have to pick a task which is giving you maximum profit at that level capital, whatever the capital you have, because within that limit only you can choose the task, you can choose the project which is within that budget, right, within that capital. So on the basis of capital, whatever the all possible projects you have option, you can pick that the best profit among those projects will give you the maximum value, right, maximum capital at the end. So that's why this seems to be another way of another pattern could be possible is greedy pattern. So there are two different patterns I can visualize at this point. One is dynamic programming and another is greedy approach, right? Let's because there are two possibilities, so we have to carefully analyze which one is good, which one is actually a solution, and which one is just a misunderstanding. So we'll see it. Now the answer is guaranteed. They are saying that the answer is guaranteed to fit in 32-bit signed integer, so you do not worry about answer part at least. Okay, that's great. Now the first example, let me go through now example as such. So the first example is, let me go through to explain here, right? So example one is you have k is equal to 2, okay, and you have w is equal to 0. So w is profit. W is capital, initial capital, and k is number of projects they are allowed to take to get the maximum profit. Now there are two array which is profit, and this will be 1, 2, and 3, and similarly capital required. Okay, capital required here is 0, 1, 1. Okay, so to understand the problem better, please try to understand that if you want to start the 0th project, you have to be your capital at that point should be 0. So if it is 0, you can allow to take this project, but you cannot allow the second index problem, like 1th index problem, which is this one, from 0 capital, because this needs at least minimum 1 capital, 1 whatever the unit you can choose, no issue. So at least 1 capital you need to start this project. Similarly, you start this project, you need at least 1 value of your capital to start this project. So this is the initial thing you have to understand. Okay, and then they are saying that initially you have 0, right? So you can only choose this one, right? You can only allow to choose this one. So I have no choice, so I will go and choose it. So once I choose it, my profit become w plus 1. Okay, w is 0, so this is your profit. You pick this one, right? Okay, so you are done with this. Now I have a capital 1. So this is step 1, right? Step 1 of your selection. In step 2, now your capital w is 1. So with 1 capital, you have 2 options, right? You have 2 options now. So this is another option, this is another option, right? These are the 2 options. These are the 2 options for capital option with capital value 1. Okay, so I have a capital value 1 right now, and so I have a 2 option. I can choose any one, but what should I choose? So as per the requirement, I have to choose the project which will give you the maximum value, right? So I will may choose this one. I will choose this one, and so I will choose the project index, second index. So I have to choose second index project, right? Index project, which is this one, which is primarily this one, right? Yeah, this one. So you have to choose this one, and so your W is 1. So your profit calculation will be 1 plus 3, and this is 4. Now you have already chosen K is equal to 2 project, and K is 2 initially only. So you are done. So you are done with the maximum count of selection, max count of selection possible, right? So whatever the profit you have, this is your answer, right? This is your answer. So whatever the profit you have, this is your answer. Okay, so this is your answer. So this is your final answer. And this is kind of greedy. So greedy seems to be, and this is greedy approach, right? So I won't see much difference here, problem here to achieve this problem. But do you able to think any scenario where this greedy approach will not work? So now I am thinking on to break my assumption. So let's think about breaking your assumption. Let's think about breaking your assumption. Okay, so it sounds okay. So let me go through first the given another example, then I will form my own test cases also, right? But for now, just go to the example 2. So let's consider the example 2 also, right? So let's go to the example 2 also. In example 2, you have input K is equal to 3, W is the initial capital value, which is 0, and then profits, which is 1, 2, 3, and capital, which is 0, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, now so the same approach you will apply here also. For K is equal to 1, the first project you are going to select, you have 0 capital, and for 0 capital you have only 2 options, right? So with 0 capital you have only 2 options here. That is only one option, only one option. This is this one. So you picked the first 0th index project. You picked 0th index project. Okay, and so your profit will be 0 plus the profit at here. So profits of 0, right? This is 0. So this will give you value 1. So at the end of first project selection, your profit is 1. That's okay. Now next problem. Let me go through the next step. Now you again go to, now you have W, which is the initial capital 1, and you have already 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, and 2, right? This is the way. You already selected this one, so this is gone. Now you have 2 choice. W is 1. Now if you look at your problem carefully, you will see that only the 1th index, index project is possible to select, right? Possible to select here. So at the end of second choice, K is equal to 2, your profit will be, so 1 plus, and here like this is 2. Okay, so this becomes 3. So your profit will becomes 3. Now another problem, another area I should proceed further is, so this is your second, K is equal to 2. So after selecting the second project, your value will be 3. Okay. Now the next thing is, I do have another choice. So for K is equal to 3, I have another one project selection left until this point, and there is only one possibility, and this is your only possibility now. Okay. So for K is equal to 3, I have to select this project. And so profit will be, after selecting this, your profit will be 3 plus 3, which is 6. So at the end of all K number of project selection, your profit becomes 6, like 3 plus 3 is 6. This is your answer. Now, do we have any other possibility? I don't think so, right? So this seems to be working for this example also. Now let me go through the another example, which is not here, but by just creating your own example here. Okay, so I will try to go with our own example now. Okay, so instead of making this, say for example, let me k is equal to 2, and let me say my w is equal to 0, and then also I have a profit 1, 2 and 100, and I have this and this. Okay, so this is what I should do now, because until this point we are not sure like which one I have to pick. In example 1, I believe that there is a contradiction in that, but that contradiction is not giving you reason behind choosing the maximum profit value, right? But at that time also the logic is same, and so in this case also, like, contradiction here is that when you have a initial capital 1, which I will get, like, after selecting this one, my capital becomes 1, right? So after this capital, now I have two different options. One option is this, one option is this. These two possibility to select it, and this will give you the value, like, I will go by this way or that way, that is okay. So by selecting the third one, which is giving you the maximum profit, you have 100 and plus 1, and then that's it. So 100 plus 1 is your answer, right? So by that way you can very much sure that, so this is your 101 in this case, right? Your answer would be 100. So yeah, so this is okay. One of this is okay. Then let me try to another option. Now k is equal to 3, w is equal to 0, and maybe w is also something which will provide you, say for example w is equal to 2. Now I have profit 2, 0, 3, 1, and I need 4 and 2. Now in this case at k is equal to 1, like when I'm going for the first project selection, I do have all these possibility. Is it? Yes, because I have initial capital 2. So I can go for this also, I can go for this, and also I can go for this. Which one we should choose? So we should choose that project which is going to give me the maximum profit, right? That is what my intuition is saying. And so I will go for this project selection, and I will make profit after k is equal to 1 is 4, right? Similarly, I will go for this. I will go for this. So 4 plus 2, which is 6, initial profit. Then I will go for this. 6 plus 3 is our 9, and I will go for this, which is 9 plus 2, which is 11. So 4, 3, 2, and this 2. Yeah, 11. So answer is 11. So that is what I'm saying. Like, there are possibilities, and this is perfectly able to. So I'm able to verify that my greedy approach will work here. And intermediary, some more data structure I need, where I can maintain the some maximum kind of things at the top always, like priority queue, something that data structure will help me. So greedy and priority queue, these two are the fundamentally required thing for us. Okay, that is what I am thinking here. Now next thing is, yeah, so this is okay, this is okay. What should I do? Okay, any okay, so yeah, now it's time to invalidate the DP approach, like, okay. And in this case, like, what is my category here? So do I have any greedy approach? No. So I will create one folder here, and that folder is called greedy. Okay, this is up to greedy, and inside this greedy I will just create one file which is called, what is the problem name here? What was the problem? And the problem was, yeah, so this is something like 502 IPO. So I will put that name here, 502 underscore IPO dot CPP. Okay, so initial glue code I will copy from here, so that you are comfortable. Okay, so example, no, okay, so here, sorry. Yeah, so just glue code, it's not big deal. It is just I'm copying it so that I don't need to copy again and again these kind of, write again and again of these kind of code. It's nothing big, it's just a simple. Now I'm putting my whiteboard aside so that I can work better on the IDE. Okay, so now the time is move on the IDE and work better on there, right? And so the first thing I will copy, which is the standard solution class from LeetCode. And so this is your method you need to handle. Okay, just restructure things a little bit, and then just restructure things a little bit. So I will remove this part now, and yeah, so you don't need now anything on whiteboard for now. You have to just implement your code on ID so that it will be much better. Okay, so let's n is equal to profits dot length, or maybe size, profit dot size. So this is the value n. Then I would create like vector. So vector, I will choose pair, and what type of data type I will select int, and then this is something which is projects. Okay, now after this you have how many n element. So you just run this int I is equal to 0, I is less than n plus I, and I will see that where is my video? Okay, yeah, so this, and I will say that projects dot pushback. Maybe here two things important. Sometime it is in place back is also another thing which you can use, but for now I will use profits and capital and profits, right? So capital of I, comma profits of I. Okay, so this is the complete list projects. Now after that, what you do here, you have to just sort it, right? You have to just sort your project, and projects dot begin. So this is your projects dot begin, and then projects dot end. Okay, so you have to sort it. So you did the sorting now. So until now you are able to manage your projects sorted based on capital value. Perfect. Now next thing is how to manage your profit as a some data structure, so that every time during the selection of project you can able to select the project which will give you the maximum profit within the capital limit, right? Because you have a capital also. So for that purpose, let's say okay, so one problem here is to manage your that value, right? So manage your yeah. So is this a problem? No, I think you just have to go through with the all possible projects which fall under certain category, right? Certain things inside the within the capital limit. Okay, so you have to just do like and how many projects you need to select. Int I is equal to 0, I is less than k. Please note that k is your number of projects, right? So you have to select these many projects only. One thing is that. Then you also have intermediary project index, right? So this project index is 0 initially, and this project index, while this p index is less than n, this is the maximum limit you can see. And then okay, and also you have to check that projects, okay, projects of this I, this particular I, so p index, okay, and dot, what is the capital value? First, this capital value should be less than equal to the initial W, right? So this is your W. No, this is capital W only. Okay, now while this loop will work for you, what you do here, whatever this comes under this value, you have to push into the priority queue. So here you have to maintain one priority queue, okay, and this priority queue, what you should push, the maximum profit you have to get it. That's it. So int q, and yeah, okay, sorry. So this q dot push back, right? So q dot push, and I will push it. What should I push? Second value, right? This only. So instead of first, you just copy here the second one. So second one, okay, and okay, you have to do it this. Now, by any chance, if I do not find any relevant project in this priority queue, it means that there is no possibility of any project to be selected now. So you can, if q dot int is true, then you just have to break from here, right? So you just have to break from here. Otherwise, you should continue. And how you will continue? W plus q dot top, okay, and then since you have selected, and q dot pop also you need to remove, and that's it. So you continue with this, and then finally you have to return this value W. I hope this will work, and this is the only solution you need. Okay, so do you need to write test cases and other thing? I don't think so, because we already discussed like how we have already made sure, right? So let's try to bring the IDE for your submission now. So just bring this one, and I'll just copy it and paste it. Time limit. All right, where is the problem? Why is this TLE? Q pop is there, top is there, Q push is there. Okay, so P index, and so this P index, you have not done this one. Okay, so all these three are correct now by now, and you can see that your minimum test cases has already passed, and I have created another test case for my purpose that is also passed. So just submit it. I hope that it will work for you. Okay, so I'm able to finish this code, and almost everything I have tried, like all these 4 steps which I already mentioned, not exactly in that term because the time is very limited in this case. That's why in problem solving time is little major factor, but you primarily understood that what exactly I have tried to accomplish. Like when creating my approach, I have considered almost everything in terms of like test cases I generated for myself. Then I validated my approach with that test case and so on and so forth. Okay? Thank you for your patience listening my video, and I hope it will give you some insight in future course. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye. Take care.